Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing the Warrior Cats Design Challenge. Before I begin, just a heads up, I completely forgot to do the Sparkle Cats one. And because I ran out of time, I just decided that it would be okay if I just left it out. So that won't be included, but I did do the other ones. Okay, so the first prompt was own interpretation, and I decided to do Swiftpaw because I really like him as a character. As you might know from a few videos I've done about him in the past, and I'm pretty sure I said something about him in the Q&A. So I gave him a energetic pose, because his name's Swiftpaw, so I thought that he would probably run a lot. And I always imagined him to be very sleek and short-furred, so I did that as well. And despite him being an apprentice, I decided to make him a full-sized warrior because I'm pretty sure that when he dies, he's big enough, old enough to be a warrior. He just hasn't been apprenticed yet. So, yeah, I did that. And then I moved on to colouring. So, for the colouring, I used colours from a speed paint that I did before, of Swiftpaw, obviously, and I only had designed his back then, so I used part of the design of his back to design him, but then I had a lot that I still needed to design. I wasn't really sure how to do the face, so it took a couple of attempts, but in the end I just went with like a mid-toned mask thing with a few black markings. So yeah, it did take a couple of attempts, but I think it turned out pretty good. So the next prompt was opposite design, and I decided to do mouse fur. So since mouse fur is an elder, I thought it would be fun to make her a kitten. So yeah, I also always imagined mouse fur to be quite fluffy. I don't know why, but I just did. So I made her quite short-furred, a kitten, and then when I moved on to colours, I made her very light, because she's like a brown tabby, I'm pretty sure. So I made her a very pale brownish colour. I could have gone a lot different, but I wasn't really sure what the opposite of brown would be, so I just made her a very light colour. I was actually pretty proud of how the design turned out, because I thought that the markings looked quite good. And then I gave her blue eyes because I'm pretty sure her eyes are like sunset coloured, or like brown. So the third prompt was realistic, and I chose to do Silverstream because I feel like she's quite underrated. So I went with a very realistic style, a lot more realistic than I would usually draw. I even changed like the eye shape to be more circular than rectangular, like I usually would do. So I had a bit of difficulty doing it because I wasn't really used to drawing realistic style on my iPad. I would usually draw realistically on paper, but after a bit of tweaking it and just redoing the face a few times, I think it turned out alright. So then I went on to colouring, and I got up a reference photo to get some colours ideas and the markings, and I just filled in the base colour, and then I got an airbrush, and then I just added as many markings as I wanted using eyedropper to just grab colours from the reference photo in the corner. So in the book her eyes are blue, but I couldn't find any reference photos with blue eyes, so I just used a very pale blue for her eyes. And it's quite hard to see, to be fair, because it's so light, but yeah, it's there. So I was pretty happy with how it turned out in the end, and yeah, I think I did a pretty good job on the realistic one. So next up was the Canon Design, and I chose to do Longtail. I gave him a very proud stance, because I thought that would be quite fitting for him. I obviously gave him a pretty long tail, and I decided that I would use the bottom reference photo for the markings and then the top one for the colours. So I just did the liner, and then I dropped colours from the first one, and then just the dark colour to do the markings. And I wanted to add more stripes, but then I decided not to because it didn't really look right, so I just added this light colour, which you could kind of see in the markings one. So this is the finished design. I definitely wouldn't have used those colours if I was just designing him. So the final prompt was to pick a breed for a cat, and I chose to make Cloudtail into a Persian cat because I thought that would just be funny, and I thought it was quite fitting because I really like Persian cats. I don't know, they're just really cute. So I obviously gave him the grumpy face and made him very fluffy and pretty short. I don't know, I wasn't too sure with how it turned out because I don't know, I just don't think that Persian really goes with my style. I did like the colours that I chose and like the markings and stuff though. So that was the finished one. I wasn't really sure how much I liked it, to be fair. I think that was my least favourite. So here they all are. Credit to Andy Vanilla Leap for making the prompt sheet, and thank you for watching.